Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Vijay Jaswal.
Thank you. Thank you. Good afternoon. Tünaydın, I think, right, in Turkish. So 20 minutes. I hope you can all understand me and hear me. I'll try and speak slowly. Today I'm going to talk to you about customer experience in the digital world, okay? But specifically, you see that 4K Ultra HD symbol there? How many of us have bought a new TV in the last 2 years? Right? Normally, it's going to be like a 4K TV, but I'm going to tell you that story in a second. We do live in a digital world, right? And as customers, we're all consumers, we're all customers. We're very fussy now, right? You know, we've got our phone apps, we drop a pin, we want a taxi to come straight away. We interact with our bank, we want them to serve us very, very quickly. You know, we get frustrated if you're on a website and you press send and it takes ages for the page to load, right? We're very fussy customers. If we're not happy now, it's so easy just to post that up on social media, Twitter, Facebook, or what have you. And that can do a lot of damage to an organization. So I think that the customer experience is even more important right now as we speak. I've got another experience I'm going to share with you, actually, around airports. I hate the new airport, the big airport. Man, unbelievable. So I live in Dubai, and I come to Istanbul every month. And so when the plane lands, it takes 20 minutes for the plane to arrive at the gate, another half an hour to get to passports, another 20 minutes to get outside into my taxi. Then it takes longer to get to my hotel. Now, it's a lovely airport, beautiful airport, trees, decoration, everything. But for me, for some people, that's cool. But for me, I travel every week. It's not a nice customer experience for me. I just want to get off my plane and get to my hotel as quickly as I can. I did a workshop for another airport that I hear that understand that people are starting to use now on the Asia side last week. So we were doing a workshop around the passenger experience at departures. And I think they're going to speak, actually, later on today. But it was a really good session. I'm going to share with you what we spoke about later in that session. But let's talk about the 4K Ultra HD. I want to give you 4 capabilities that we offer to improve customer experience, okay? But the 4K Ultra HD thing, what's all that about? Well, I want to compare the evolution of televisions to the evolution of, the first example I'm going to use is banking, okay? So a lot of people have spoken earlier on today about banking apps and things, okay? So I want to compare the experience of TVs over the last 30 years with banks, okay? So recently we bought a new TV. It was one of these nice new 4K TVs. Before, we probably had one of these ones, okay? But the interaction, the experience wasn't very good. You know, I had Netflix on there, I had YouTube on there, but it was too cumbersome to access it. So in our main living room, we had a cable box, like we all probably have, right? But now we've bought this new flashy TV. It's connected to the internet. Netflix, amazing, right? The experience of Netflix is very good. I think we can all agree the customer experience of using Netflix is brilliant, right? But it's that good now that we've actually removed the cable box and put it in the other room, in the children's room. And our TV experience, it's purely connected to the internet. All we do is watch Netflix and YouTube, actually, on that TV. And the 4K, the quality is amazing. It's absolutely amazing. So the technology has changed the customer experience for the way we consume TV, and I'm sure for you all as well. Now, televisions, for those of you that are as old as me, I remember this big thing about 20, 30 years ago. They used to be massive. They used to look really ugly in the corner of your room, right? But over the years, they've gradually got smaller, smaller, and smaller until we've got to today. They're like picture frames, and they're so light, all right? They actually look really cool. Now, let's look at banking. So 30 years ago, a bank was basically, you go to a building. If you want money, if you want to do any kind of interaction, you go to a building and you do the interactions at the building, okay, at the bank branch. Today, banks have got these lovely new flashy apps, right? So the last time I went to my bank was about 1.5 years ago when I bought a car. I had to get money out, and that's the last time I went to a bank, okay? But everything else I did through the banking app. Great experience. But there's a bit of a but here. Now, the lady earlier was talking about fintechs. So fintechs have come along. Fintechs are born digital, right? They're new. So, you know, the Ubers, the Airbnbs, the Amazons, these types of organizations, they're digital organizations, and they have nice, flashy, sexy-looking apps, okay? Now, the only issue is banks have these sexy, flashy-looking apps, but at the back, they still have old systems. So the IT systems, and I promise I'm not going to be too technical in this presentation, but you know all the systems that store your customer details, your statements, your purchases, they're all old, okay? And because of this, there's a bit of an issue. And this is all banks, whether it's in Europe, this part of the world, in Dubai, the US, they all have this issue. And these old systems are really holding back innovation, okay? So just because it has a nice flashy front end, and it takes ages to get your information, that's not good. That's not digital. That's not a good customer experience. Now, I've got an example here. Royal Bank of Scotland, about 6 years ago, they suffered so the Bank in England, right? They suffered a serious breakdown where their systems went down for about 2 days. Customers couldn't access information. And I'll tell you why that was, because they got such a complex environment of different systems, okay? So for instance, they had something like 142 payment systems, okay? And they wanted to reduce that to 20. In terms of payment gateways, 38 to 8. And this is a symptom of banks. Banks, they merge and acquire other banks, but they keep the systems, okay? So the first valuable lesson I want to share with you is that good customer experience, it's not just about the front. It's not just about the flashy front mobile app, okay? It's about the plumbing, it's about the pipes, it's about the information in the back, okay? So the first capability that Software AG have, we help with this, okay? So we help to connect all these systems together, fix the plumbing. So organizations like Ishbank, for instance, Ishbank also had a catastrophic failure, didn't they, about 5-6 years ago, where customers couldn't access systems. After that, they invested in us to connect all their systems together, okay? Pegasus Airlines used this system to connect all their various different systems together. So the first important capability is definitely integration. Because, you know, in this modern day world, simple things like moving house, you know, the process of moving house. Now, I live in Dubai. Dubai has a government entity called Smart Dubai Government. And you know Dubai want to be the best, the shiniest, tallest buildings, biggest malls. They also want to have the happiest citizens. And I think Dubai was the first country to have a minister of happiness, right? The world laughed at that. Like, why do you need a minister of happiness? But if you think about it, I was reading up on this. The USA, you know the Declaration of Independence in the USA that was written in 18 whatever it was. One of the clauses in there is the pursuit of happiness. Right? Governments are there to make citizens happy. Okay, yes, to collect taxes, but, you know, governments are there to make sure that the schools are good, the hospitals are good, roads are safe, citizens are safe. So Dubai are big on this customer happiness thing. And they've actually got an app, and in that app is a moving home journey. Now, moving home's a pain in the behind, right? Because firstly, you have to move your broadband, your internet. You have to reattach your utilities, gas, electricity, or what have you. And very often, these things don't go in sync. You move house, you're supposed to get internet today, but it comes the following week, right? It's a real pain. So they've actually created a journey that connects not just systems, but different organizations together. So the telecommunications company, to move your internet, they've connected. The utilities, gas, electricity, they've connected. Even to the initial stage of looking for a house or looking for a new apartment, they've connected up together. And they call it the moving home journey. Okay? They've also, and this is all available through an app. There's an app called Dubai Now. And you click it, and it's one app that connects everything together. Okay? And this goes back to my first capability, integration. Very, very important, and API management as well, okay? Which is really the ability to share information amongst different organizations. And API management's interesting, right? So those of you that use Uber, when you connect to Uber, Uber use Google Maps, and they connect to that using APIs, right? If you go to Google Maps as well, If you plug in a destination and you can say walking, driving, transport, it connects to bus transport, but also there's a Uber. You click on it and it tells you where the nearest Uber ride is. The whole world is getting connected. So integration is very, very important, okay? And it's important for being digital. Like I mentioned earlier, if we go on holiday, and we don't like a hotel, I don't know about you, but whenever I go on holiday, I go to TripAdvisor, and I have a look at what all the ratings are and what people say, okay? Now, if you go on holiday and you suffer really bad customer service, what's going to happen, People will write about it. There's a brilliant story from, I think it's from last year, I think it's American Airlines. I love this story. Some of you may know it. A gentleman was traveling on American Airlines, and as the plane took off, the food trolley came hurtling down the aisle, and he had his knee sticking out, hit him in the knee, hurt his knee, okay? They apologized, etc., etc. The gentleman, he blogged this story, and he basically said, okay, they apologized and everything, but I didn't get a letter, or we're really sorry, we hope you're well, blah, 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 right? A few days later, he received a parcel, a red parcel. He opens up the parcel, and there's a letter. And the letter is from Virgin Atlantic, right, the competing airline. And Virgin Atlantic wrote, next time you travel, we've got you covered, with an exclamation mark. And he's like, what is this? He opened up the parcel, and there were knee pads, elbow pads, and a helmet. And he blogged this. But it wasn't come and travel with us, free upgrade, none of this. It was just their social media team, Virgin Atlantic's social media team, was so sharp on that guy, he will travel Virgin Atlantic, right? And everyone who reads that, I'm telling you this story, right? Brilliant. And this is a blog, you can search for it. Just search for American Airlines knee pads, and you'll see this actual blog. Brilliant. But this is key, right? This is absolutely key. The whole loyalty, the emotion of being a customer, and when you suffer bad customer service, you let it be known, right? Okay, the second capability. Now, how do you improve your operations? How do you find the areas where customer service breaks down in your organization? Okay? Now, one way is the inside-out approach. This is when you document all of your internal processes. Okay, so if you're a bank, it's loan applications, it's mortgage processing, account opening. If you're a retail, it's the ability for a customer to order something, etc. Okay, but this is the inside-out approach. This is the organization's view of their processes. What a lot of companies are doing now is the outside-in approach. This is the customer journey. So when I apply for a credit card, what does my screen look like? How long do I have to wait? Where are all the pain points? More importantly, pain points or touch points is very interesting because this is where the customer journey, the outside-in process, meets the inside-out process. A touch point and a moment of truth is where a customer decides yes or no. Right? Yes, I'm going to buy this product, or no, I'm not going to buy this product. And these touch points are key. Uber do it really well. Uber did a lot of analysis on these touch points. And wherever the customer touched the organization, they made sure that experience was as good as anything. I had a problem this morning with Uber, actually, and they charged me a cancellation fee. And straight away, I got on the app, and I said, I've got a problem with my cancellation fee. The first thing they did was refund the money. I'm happy, right? And they're going to sort it out after, but I'm happy that I've got my money back because they analyzed that. So the second tool that we have is we have the ability to map the inside-out processes and the customer journey and see where the touch points are, and we can map how the customer feels, whether the customer is happy, sad, and if it is a part of the journey where there's a severe customer breakdown, we can do something about it. We can start to analyze, well, why? Why is the customer feeling like this? And then we can kick off initiatives in order to fix that. Okay, so that's the second capability that we have as Software AG. And again, and actually, many customers use this. So many of the banks in Istanbul, in Turkey, use this capability. Turk Telecom use this capability. It's important, right? If I just go back, sorry. How can you improve a process if you don't know what the process is? Right? So we give the tools to enable you to determine what is that process. Once you have the process, then you can start to find out where all the bottlenecks are and what you can improve. Okay? And this is a screenshot. So what we've got here, a lot of boxes. Don't worry about the boxes. On the left-hand side, so we've got the process. where it touches the customer. What is the channel? Is it mobile? Is it face-to-face? Which department is looking after this? What is the risk associated? More important for banks, right? What is the data input? What is the data output? So there's a lot of information that your organization can glean from this type of capability. And this is really cool. Again, a lot of information, but let me explain the top. See that top line? So the very top one is positive, so that's the customer journey, okay? So it's positive, 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 and then it goes into the middle. The middle is a neutral experience, and the one below is negative. So in this specific customer journey, and it's a banking customer journey, by the way, from ING Bank, who are one of our customers, you can see little love hearts as well. The love hearts signify moments of truth. These are the areas where if a customer is not happy, he or she will not go ahead and buy the product. Okay, so you can see, and this is real time. Okay, so you can see that the journey's pretty good actually. There's still, that step there is still neutral, and again, that's an improvement that can be made. Okay, and then you can get little stats like this. So this is saying 0% of your customer touch points are pain points, 71% of your customers are pleased. Okay, so there's a lot of information that we can give an organization around the customer journey specifically. Okay, so that's the second capability. The third capability that we have is the ability to automate processes. Okay, now, processes are everywhere, right? The company you work for, when you do your expense claims, it's a process, right? When you apply for a vacation, it's a process. You can also start to look at things like the process that I mentioned earlier about moving home. It's a process. Okay, now the ability to automate the process improves the efficiency, reduces the time, reduces the errors. And we have a capability to help you automate your processes. I love Formula One, and for me, this is the best example of process automation, right? So Formula One pit stop. So this is where a car comes in, and they do minor maintenance, change the tires, they used to refuel, and this takes something like 3 seconds. Okay, but there's about 20 people all doing this, all taking part in this process. 50 years ago, this used to take 2 minutes. The driver used to get out, have a quick drink, jump back in. But now, a pit stop is so important to the race, it can determine who wins and loses the race. And there's big bucks here, right? Millions of dollars of money go into this, and research and prize money, etc. And it's a process. Okay, there's loads of people that have been chucked at this process, but it all happens in stages. Okay, if you, again, think of your organization, think of all the processes that happen. It's different departments working together for a certain outcome, right? A loan. Customer applies. There's a bit of underwriting done. There's credit checking done, okay? And then you decide yes or no whether to give the money or not, right? That's the objective at the end of the day. The objective is to get that car out into the racetrack as quickly as possible. It's a process, okay? So we can help, firstly, to analyze processes to make sure that they're as streamlined and efficient as possible, but secondly, to actually automate those, okay? So the last one is all about data, analytics, and decision-making, okay? Now, data's interesting because, again, in your organizations as well, there's a lot of customer information that you probably possess, but you're not using, right? DBS Bank, my last example, this is a bank in Singapore that are customers of ours, right? So they've created a mobile app that basically, the first thing they do is profile all their customers, their credit card customers. So imagine if you're your bank, right, know all your transactions. They know your buying habits, and they can profile you, right? For instance, my bank will know that I like my coffee from Costa rather than Starbucks. They know when my birthday is. They know when my wife's birthday is. They know that every year around my wife's birthday, I buy a big present from a certain jewelry shop. Okay, so they know all of this information, and they use this information. So my wife's birthday is in May, it's just gone. So a couple of weeks before, they'd send a message to say, look, if you go to this jewelry shop and use our credit card, we'll give you 10% discount. Okay, so it's all about learning and using the information that's in your organization, such as credit card information, but also outside, like tweets, Facebook posts, okay? And then learning from it, learning from that information. And we have a very, let me just go back. Part of this capability is machine learning, okay, and artificial intelligence learning behaviors. It could be shopping behaviors. It could be driving habits, okay? So there's many ways that we can leverage data. So basically, these are the 4 capabilities. I'm just out of time. I just want to spend 1 more minute on, and our technologies, it's all kind of, all the analysts say good things about our technology. But the last slide, so I mentioned the airport. So we conduct a lot of these half-day customer experience workshops, right? And what we're offering is, we're offering 3 customer experience workshops, right? So design thinking workshops. So how they work is, we get a problem, an area. So for instance, the airport customer that we did a workshop with last week, the challenge was improving the passenger experience at departures, okay? We had about 12 people in the room, airport operations, airport communications, IT were there, so 12 people in the room. And the way we do it is, firstly, we tell them stories about how we've improved customer experience management. And then we look at the passenger personas. What are the different types of people that fly? So I'm a regular flyer like me, very fussy. The once-a-year families that go on holiday, not so fussy, but if they have small children, the experience, they need help, especially if it's a single mother, for instance, right? Then we looked at potential issues, and we split everybody into groups. They wrote stuff on Post-it notes, and then we grouped the Post-it notes together to look at the key areas of improvement, and then we split the group into 2 to actually discuss solutions. Okay, so that's at an airport. A few weeks before that, I did it at a government entity in Saudi Arabia, and they were looking for how can they use IoT, how can they use devices to improve internal stuff, but also stuff in the kingdom. And they came out with loads of stuff, like putting tracking devices in school buses and all this kind of stuff, okay? So thank you for listening. If you're interested in this, please send a quick email to that. We're going to pick 3. We've also got a stand in the other side on the 4th floor. Or, if the Software AG team want to stand up, you can come and speak to one of these individuals here, okay? But we'd love to help you with your customer experiences. Thank you very much for listening. Teşekkürler. Thank you.